Welcome back, Sloth University. If you are trying to enroll in Sloth University and are watching these videos and you're not subscribed, go ahead and drop a subscribe before we even start off with this video, because you can't be part of Sloth University and enrolled in Sloth University if you're not subscribed. So before we even start off this video, go ahead and do that. But let's get straight into it, man. Like we always get straight into it. The Chiefs versus the Jaguars. The Jaguars on Monday Night Football absolutely stunned the Chiefs. And yes, because I had the Chiefs winning the game, like majority of people. And this was more, I feel like, the Chiefs kind of losing the games for themselves. But let's not discredit what the Jaguars just did. The Jaguars, they were at home, albeit, but they took on a team that has been at the top of the AFC and at the top of the NFL for so long. And the Jaguars is a team who's been for years just one of the laughing stocks to the league, bottom of the barrel, just literally like one of the Jets of the league. Sorry to shit on the Jets fans, but they've been like with the Jets, the Dolphins, bottom of the barrel, mediocre teams. And it's funny that, or not funny, but it's crazy that the top two teams in the AFC, we're not including the Colts, even though the Colts are technically the top team in the AFC, between the Chiefs and the Bills, because that's who I consider the top two teams in the AFC, let's be real. Between the Chiefs and the Bills, they both lost to what could be considered the up-and-coming teams of the AFC in the Patriots and the Jaguars. Now, I don't think that either one of those teams come playoff times would be able to repeat these wins, but they were able to come in prime time. Both of these games were in prime time. Sunday night football game and a Monday night football game. And they were able to literally show the world that we're here. This is what we're capable of. This is what we're trying to do. This is what we're building. This is what we've been building. And we're putting the league on notice. So I'm not, like, honestly, in my opinion, I think the Chiefs would have won that game if they were able to do that last kickoff without a penalty. I wholeheartedly believe the Chiefs would be coming out of this game with a W. We're not having this conversation if they didn't get that penalty. But they did get the penalty, and they did lose the football game. Because at the end of the day, it is literally about wins and losses. Do I think the Chiefs are a better football team than the Jaguars? Yes. But did the Jaguars absolutely show up to play? Yes. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't perfect. Neither was the Bills versus Patriots game. Neither one of those games were pretty or perfect. But literally, the Jaguars and the Patriots dragged the Bills and the Chiefs down and like, listen, you're in a dumpster with us now. This is how dirty we get. This is how dirty we get. And they showed them just how dirty they get. Listen, I'm not the biggest Trevor Lawrence fan. I may not even be the biggest Liam Cohen fan. I like Liam Cohen, but he has to show me a little bit more. But he has shown me that he is able to disguise a lot of the things that are wrong with this Jaguars team and the mistakes that they make and the inefficiencies of this team. He's able to disguise them very well. And I think that they really did get off to a really bad start. One, they are learning a new offensive system. He's a first-year head coach. And Brian Thomas Jr., I truthfully feel like they were being 100% not upfront with how big of a detriment and how big of a problem his wrist injury was earlier in the year. And it's looking like he is healing from it a lot better now. He's getting healthier. We're not going to act. There were so many people that were saying Brian Thomas Jr. is broken. And I'm like, you can clearly see the man is in pain. He wanted to play through it. I guess it was something that you could literally play through and still heal from. And I don't think he wanted to miss any games because of it, because he could play through it. But I don't think this was like a lapse in mental. Like, the guy is huge. He's not scared of getting hit. He's been getting hit his entire life. Like, he's from LSU as well. He's not scared of getting hit. LSU was a very physical football team. And the NFL is a very physical place. These people, majority of them, especially if they're wide receivers and bigger receivers who are used to going across the middle, they're not scared of getting hit. But it's looking like Brian Thomas Jr. is getting healthier. One of the biggest key components of this Jaguars team that I did want to see more of was getting Travis Hunter involved. Because Travis Hunter is one of the elite wide receiver prospects of this draft class, and they haven't gotten him involved as much as they should. I personally think, I like their approach long term that they're doing, kind of like baby spoon feeding him offense and defense, because he is still a rookie, and cornerback and wide receiver aren't easy things to pick up in the league. Some people pick it up extremely well, but if you give him too much, you might overload the kid. And I know Deion's like, well, he's been doing this, but listen, Deion's not in these rooms. Like, I'm sorry, like, Deion's not in these rooms. And Travis Hunter is gradually coming along. Of course, everybody wants him to just be an immediate superstar, an immediate just factor in the games on offense and defense, and be able to see him make plays all over the place. But clearly, that's not going to happen. And people would love to see him choose one or the other, but he doesn't want to. He wants to be able to play both sides of the ball, and this is the reality that we're faced with as of right now. It was good to see him make a lot of plays, because when he's gotten the ball, he's looked great. On defense, he's been up and down, but on offense, whenever he's gotten the ball, he's looked really good. And it's been good to see him get more involved in the offense, because the mix between him and Brian Thomas Jr. could really take this team places. I already said before the season even started, I'm not the biggest Trevor Lawrence fan. I've never said I really like Trevor Lawrence as a prospect, as a quarterback. We can get down into my Trevor Lawrence disdain later. But what I did say is that team, offensive wise, has talent all around. Between Brian Thomas Jr., who is an elite wide receiver prospect and an elite wide receiver in the league. He had a fantastic season as a rookie. And they just drafted Travis Hunter, who is just as good of a wide receiver prospect as Brian Thomas Jr. Two completely different positions, but they complement each other perfectly. And then in the backfield, they've got Travis Etienne. They just picked up Bashaw Tootin. I still don't know. I gotta see how to say this man's last name, because this is. I really wonder if it's Tutton or Tootin. We gonna say both until we get it right. So they have all these pieces around Trevor Lawrence, and I'm a firm believer in, unless you're like an elite quarterback, who you have around you 100% matters, because the pieces that you have around you can make quarterback play better. An elite quarterback play can also raise the level of talent. But I don't think that good to average quarterbacks can succeed if the talent around them isn't good. But if the talent around them is good or great, a good to average quarterback can succeed, especially if the offensive scheme is really good, which Liam Cohen is showing it is really good. Now, Trevor Lawrence made a lot of mistakes in this game, but he also did a lot of good. That throw to Bryant, listen, I will pick apart all his mistakes one by one, but I will also highlight things that he does great, because I'm not going to sit here and act like the man just does all bad. That pass to Brian Thomas Jr. in the fourth quarter, in the clutch, was nothing short of spectacular. It was a dot, a extremely difficult throw, in stride, over the shoulder, to defenders in a big time moment. It's what literally clutch QBs need to do. And especially when you're going up against that guy and Patrick Mahomes on the other side, these are the type of plays you need to make and the type of shots you needed to take, because that's what the team needed at that time. They were kind of reeling a little bit, and they needed a big play to just bring the team back to life, and they got it. And even the play that his foot got stepped on, and he was able to literally bring himself back together, and is like, I gotta get this in the end zone. Got back up, rushed around, and he was using his legs phenomenally all game. And that's one aspect of his game that I feel like wasn't able to be utilized earlier in his career, because he is a very mobile quarterback, and not a single one of the offensive coordinators or head coaches that he's had in his professional career was able to really bring that out of him. And that's something that I really like that Liam Cohen is integrating into the offense and allowing him to spot the rushing lanes whenever they're available and immediately just take off, because it changes the way defenses play against you. It changes the way they scheme you. It changes the way they put their coverages. It makes everything so much easier for the quarterback to digest and just play offense. But the Chiefs, I'm not worried about the Chiefs. Whenever they get Rashee Rice back, they're gonna have all the receivers back. Maybe they trade for a running back, but honestly, Brashad Smith, their rookie, I think that if they don't trade for a running back, he is going to be the X factor in that backfield, because he's electric. I really liked him out of SMU. I'm pretty sure he went to SMU. I'm not 100% too great with colleges. I know prospects. Colleges that's where it gets a little shaky. Pretty sure he went to SMU, but I really liked him coming out of college. The only downside was that he was a little small, but they're using him more of like a scat back, receiving back, and maybe kind of work in between the tackles. But they've got a solid duo in Isaiah Pacheco and Kareem Hunt in between the tackles. And if they can get Brashad Smith really working out of the receiving game, I think he is the type of electric player outside of the backfield that they're really missing. And traditionally with Andy Reid, rookies tend to kind of come into the season a little later. So I do think around midway point of the season onto the later half, that's when he will really start coming to life. And you're seeing it week by week. They're giving him more and more. They're giving him more and more opportunities, and he's literally making the most out of all of them. He looks phenomenal, and I'm sure even later into the season, he'll have a really big role in his team. But the Chiefs are going to be just fine. The only worry that I have about the Chiefs is, can they win a division? Because at this point in time, they've got the Chargers and the Broncos, who the Chargers are kind of reeling a little bit because they've had so many injuries to their offensive line. They've had injuries to Khalil Mack, and it's kind of wearing down on them. They had both their starting running backs injured, and it's wearing down on the team. So maybe the Chargers kind of falter, but the Broncos are kind of picking up steam a little bit. And who honestly, I have zero clue who wins that division. That division is going to be a dogfight. The Jaguars, on the other hand, are looking like they are going to compete with the Colts for the division. I wasn't too high. I'm not going to sit here and count. I wasn't too high on the Jaguars. They're slowly kind of growing on me more and more. I was really interested to see. I kept saying it so many times in previous videos. I kept saying it. I'm really interested to see how their defense does against Kansas City, because they started off the year on fire, but they really didn't play too much competition. And these past 2 weeks, I believe, they really started to ramp up the competition that they've played. And the next 2 weeks that we're going to see, or past 2 weeks that they played, and then next 2 weeks that we're going to see, will really solidify them as a defensive unit in my eyes if they can continue to have success. They didn't have the greatest day against the Chiefs, but you're playing against Patrick Mahomes. That's literally one of the hardest defensive assignments in the league. If not the hardest defensive assignment currently, because Lamar Jackson is out. But you can hold Patrick Mahomes to an L, and you got a turnover. Your quarterback did get a turnover right after, but they were able to limit, for the most part, what the Chiefs were able to do. And after a game that they really kind of just destroyed the Ravens offense, we're kind of seeing that, yes, the Chiefs aren't completely back to what they were doing, but they aren't as bad as they were in the beginning of the year. It's kind of somewhere in the middle. And I do think once they get Rashee Rice back, they'll kind of have the full picture of their offensive scheme. But I think the Jaguars, they're 100%, they're going to make the playoffs. If they continue to have the success that they're having, which I do think they will, they're a shoo-in for the playoffs. But what it'll come down to is, what can they do in the playoffs? Now, the AFC currently, in my opinion, is little, compared to what it has been the past few years, it's a little weak. especially since the Chargers, who are projected to be a playoff team, are kind of falling out a little bit. It's no Bengals, no Ravens. The top teams in AFC are currently the Bills, who are very strong. The Colts, who are still coming on, but they're not one of the top teams in the NFL. Like when you think of the AFC, or when you think of the top teams in in the NFL currently, you think the Bills, the Lions, the Chiefs, even though their record isn't really too crazy, the Eagles, the Packers, even the Buccaneers, 49ers, Seahawks, Rams. Almost every single one of those teams are in the NFC, because the AFC, whether it be these teams are still kind of trying to make a name for themselves or kind of establish themselves within the league, which I think partly plays into it. The AFC is a bit weak, so maybe the Jaguars make some noise whenever they do get to the playoffs, because I originally thought they were going to be one and dones, but with how the AFC is kind of projecting to be, depending on who they play, they could get another playoff win and potentially even two. I don't think they're going to go to the AFC Championship, because honestly, at this point in the season, I think the AFC Championship is going to be won by one of these three teams: the Steelers, the Chiefs, or the Bills. I don't really see anybody else kind of competing with any of those teams in the AFC Championship. Maybe the Broncos could get frisky if they really get their offense clicking on all cylinders. The Broncos could be a sneaky pick to make it to the AFC Championship and maybe even win it. But yeah, this has been an interesting season so far, just in terms of everything that's happened. Like there's been so much of a flip between the AFC and the NFC this year, partly because of injuries and partly because NFC teams are really just like, they really started to build some stuff. Like the Lions are top of the game as ever, but then you look at the Commanders, who have really started to come on the past 2 years, the Packers, who just traded for Micah Parsons, and once they figure things out with their wide receiver situation, Matthew Golden really starting to come on as a really good wide receiver in this league, and their defense really gels together with Micah Parsons at the helm, they could be a dominating force. You look at the Buccaneers, who got Baker Mayfield. Yes, they are battling injuries with Mike Evans right now, a little bit on their offensive line, but man, whenever they get fully healthy, they have a really good defense, and they have all the weapons that you could ask for on the offensive side, and they can go score for score with any team in this league. And I mean, the Buccaneers can go score for score with any team in this league. Craziness. The Falcons, if they ever start putting things together, they have all the pieces as well, offensively, defensively. Like, there's so many good teams in the NFC. 49ers, who just went and brought it to the Rams with their C team, and they're 4-1. The Seahawks, who are looking phenomenal. Yes, they did just get beat by the Buccaneers, but the Buccaneers are an extremely good football. The Buccaneers are really a dark horse to go win it all. I would not be shocked if the Buccaneers won the Super Bowl this year at all. A lot of people really forget that, and it's almost the same Buccaneers team. They kind of reworked themselves after Brady, but the team that Brady went to on the Buccaneers was completely stacked. And yes, it's not the exact same inherent team, but after Brady left, they did go through a period where they kind of retooled, and now you're seeing them starting to turn that corner again and become a really, really elite team. But even the Rams, after Aaron Donald left, their defense took a mean hit, but now they've gotten a few people in the draft. They've really cultivated that defense, and now their defensive line, although it didn't look that good against the 49ers, I don't know what they had going on, but the Rams defense is really looking like a really good complementary piece to their offense, which has a disgusting amount of talent on it. With Matthew Stafford, Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua, Kyron Williams, they've got Blake Corum. There's so much talent in the NFC, and then you go to AFC and it's like the Steelers, who have old man Aaron Rodgers and DK Metcalf, who's getting 5 targets a game. And then, the AFC North is in shambles. Literally, the Steelers didn't play a game this week. and they moved up in their division somehow. And then you got the AFC South, which Jaguars and Colts, they are both 4-1 respectively, but I don't think they're at the talent level of other 4-1 teams. The Chargers 3-2, Broncos 3-2, Chiefs 2-3. If the Chargers were really healthy, then you could really make a case. And if the Bengals were healthy, yes. And if the Ravens were healthy. But there's been so many injuries that just ravaged the AFC just now. The AFC is currently weak. And it's open for the taking. And I'm ready to see who takes it. And I hope you are too. But that's all we've got for today. As always, if you enjoyed it, like, comment, subscribe. Remember, you can't be enrolled in Sloth University if you're not subscribed. But comment, let me know how you guys are enjoying things. And let me know what type of videos you guys want to see next. But as always, stay safe, spread love. Class dismissed.